Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Absolute Resonance Part 15 based on novel. So let's start. When Li Luo was left with his last 3 bottles of 5th grade spirit liquids and purifying lights, his water light resonance finally evolved, reaching the 6th grade. In his bedroom, Li Luo sprawled on the carpet, a wild look of triumph on his face. Less than a month before, Li Luo had been written off with his blank palaces, his future bleak. And now, his unique water light resonance had reached the 6th grade. Resonances had 9 grades, and a 6th grade resonance was above average, no matter how you looked at it. One more upgrade and he would be well and truly in the high-quality resonance tier. Besides, the water light resonance's unique nature meant that its 6th grade power was comparable to that of some 7th grade resonances. Therefore, just in terms of resonant power, Li Luo had already caught up to many of his excellent peers. As far as he knew, only Lu Qing'e and Song Yunfeng had 7th grade resonances in the whole of Southwind Academy. And even within their generation in the Jianshu province, the number of 7th grade resonance users could be counted on one hand. Even with a 9th grade resonance monster like Jiang Qing'e eclipsing his achievement, Li Luo knew that a 7th grade one still had its own noteworthy shine. 9th grade resonances were extremely rare. Why else would the Astral Sage College open a special recruitment for Jiang Qing'e? The Astral Sage College's requirements were very strict. They had seen more geniuses than carp in the Yangtze River, so even an ordinary genius would not move them to open their doors so readily. Li Luo raised his palm. A blue resonant power condensed on his fingertip. The resonant power was pure, and the refreshing sound of waves came floating forth. He could feel that his resonant power had become more solid and pure after advancing his water-light resonance. He was not far from the 8th seal now. The blue resonant power finally coalesced into a ball of water about the size of a fist. He flicked his finger, and the water ball shot forth. It smashed into the wall with startling ferocity and created an explosive flash of light, dazzling an unprepared Li Luo momentarily. He chuckled. This resonance art was not at all unusual. It was a very common mid-tier art. When hit, the water resonance power would enter the target's body and then their speed would take a hit. However, this move lacked offensive power, and did not deal much damage. Therefore, Li Luo had fortified and improved this mid-tier resonance art. He had infused light resonance within it. The resulting water bullet was not only faster, but could also release a blinding light to distract his opponent. Therefore, he renamed this improved water bullet art to Water Light Bullet. In order to prepare for the college final examinations, Li Luo had made all kinds of efforts, and refining the Water Light Bullet was one of them. Li Luo turned around, and the last 3 5th grade spirit liquids caught his eye. He sighed deeply. In less than a month, his water light resonance had jumped 2 grades. This was an astonishing speed indeed, but Li Luo knew that the blistering pace was about to grind to a halt. Unlike the 5th grade ones, he could not buy 6th grade spirit liquids and purifying lights by the hundreds. Considering the price, a 5th grade spirit liquid cost about 5,000 gold, whereas a 6th grade spirit liquid might reach 30,000 gold. Besides, going from the 6th grade to the 7th grade was a milestone leap. It was the cross from a middle grade resonance to a high grade one. Therefore, the amount of spirit liquids and purifying lights needed was incredible. If he assumed that he needed 200 spirit liquids and purifying lights, that totaled to 6 million gold, which was roughly a year's income for the whole of House Loulan. And given that House Loulan was rife with problems both internal and external, it was impossible to expect 6 million gold to be pulled out to support him. Besides the financial limit, there was also the question of supply. As far as Li Luo knew, perhaps only 10 6th grade spirit liquids and purifying lights would appear on the market in the Jianshu province each month. Therefore, he felt that it was simply impossible to bring his resonance to the 7th grade here. Unless he went to the capital of the Xia Kingdom. Looking further ahead, if he wanted to bring his acquired resonance to the 9th grade, the capital required would be staggering. Even all of House Loulan's resources would be insignificant in comparison. It seemed like this acquired resonance was going to be quite troublesome indeed. Of course, his blank palaces meant that he could also absorb lower-grade spirit liquids and purifying lights, although they would be less effective. However, now that he had a 6th grade one, imbibing the 5th grade liquids would be several times less effective compared to 6th grade spirit liquids and purifying lights. Therefore, doing so was not going to save him any money in the grand scheme of things, but they could be an emergency replacement. Li Luo's heart was heavy as he thought through this, but luckily, that was not the only special card he had up his sleeve. When he entered the Resonant Master stage, he would be able to fill his 2nd Resonant Palace with a 2nd Resonance. Therefore, even if he was crippled by a lack of funds, the 2nd Resonance might well help him move forward nonetheless. Besides, only when he filled his 2nd Resonant Palace would Li Luo's unique advantage truly shine through. My single 6th or 7th grade Waterlight Resonance might lose to your 9th grade Resonance, but what if I had 2 resonances? 3? If I can't beat you with 1, I'll just increase the numbers. This advantage would probably serve him well against any opponent under the Duke stage, unless he met some other super genius who had managed to realize their 2nd Resonant Palace before reaching the Duke stage. Still, those were probably as rare as his blank palaces, right? Besides, even if he did meet them, it was still going to be 3 resonances against 2. His mind in a muddle, Li Luo gave a loud, retching cough to try and quash the scattered thoughts. At the same time, he pulled out a piece of blue jade. On it was written a new energy cultivation art, which Li Luo had personally chosen for himself. The black waterfall breathing technique was a high-grade cultivation art, and required the user to have a 6th grade resonance. It was more refined than the azure flood meditation diagram that Li Luo had cultivated previously. Besides, with his improved water resonance power, it would allow his resonant power to surge forth even more explosively than when he used the azure flood meditation diagram. This was exactly what Li Luo was looking for. Li Luo carefully read the black waterfall breathing technique. When he felt the first glimmers of understanding, he began cultivating it. For the next 2 days, Li Luo devoted most of his energy to the cultivation of the black waterfall breathing technique. The day before the holidays ended, Cai Wei sent someone to inform him that the resonant artifact he had asked them to help forge was finished. Li Luo excitedly strode into the hall, immediately seeing the well-rounded and soul-stirring Cai Wei. Her egg-shaped face made her seem even prettier than a flower, a wide smile on her face. However, Li Luo saw her often, so he was completely immune to her charm. He shifted his gaze to what was important, the iron box atop the table nearby. He vaulted across without hesitation, instantly ripping the cover of the box off. Within the box rested 2 short blades, both glinting with cold light. They were roughly 1/3 of a meter in length. One had an azure-colored handle with a wave-like ripple pattern on it, reminding one of the waves of the sea. The other had a dull white handle which was supposedly crafted from sunspirit metal, able to produce piercing light when the sun shone upon it. These 2 short swords were crafted with metals that contained water resonance power and light resonance power respectively. They would serve as effective conduits through which Li Luo could channel his unique resonant power, further amplifying his capabilities in battle. The hilts of both blades looked like the mouth of a beast, fangs bared, an extremely intimidating appearance. When looking at these blades as a whole, they possessed a more obtuse arc than usual, looking slightly bent. Yet this didn't take away from the fact that they gave off a feeling of exceptional sharpness, cold light seemingly flowing through the blades themselves. Li Luo immediately grasped the dual blades, gently engaging in a sword dance in an attempt to get a feel for them. All of a sudden, a wind-rending sound could be heard when Li Luo swapped to a backhanded grip in the blink of an eye. His posture and actions made him seem extraordinarily dashing and elegant. "Not bad," Li Luo contentedly said while nodding his head. "The azure one will be known as the Ripple Blade, while the other will be known as the Flare Blade," he casually stated. "These are just standard resonant artifacts. They have not reached the level of treasures." Cai Wei's perspective of things were at a higher level, and she could easily discern the quality of these weapons. Although they possessed a slightly special shape, their true worth was not exceptionally high. Resonant artifacts also possessed different grades to differentiate their qualities. There were ordinary resonant artifacts, and those that surpassed them in quality were known as treasured artifacts. There was a stark difference when one compared treasured artifacts to resonant artifacts. Treasured artifacts were significantly more powerful and rarer than resonant artifacts. Additionally, each and every one of them was astronomically expensive. On the other hand, treasured artifacts required a certain amount of resonant power before they could be utilized. Li Luo was currently at the 7th seal stage, so even if he had one, he would be unable to demonstrate even a fraction of its true might. This is good enough. Once I reach the resonant master stage, I will look for a suitable treasured artifact. Li Luo smiled. His 2 resonant artifacts had been crafted purely for the college final examinations. Thank you, elder sister Cai Wei, Li Luo said with gratitude. Cai Wei waved her hand. I believe your final examinations should be starting soon. The city of Southwind seems to have become much more bustling in recent days. The numerous academies within the Tianshu province have already dispatched their elites here. The yearly college final examinations was a significant event that attracted countless people. The huge battles were an exciting topic and the atmosphere was often lively. Li Luo nodded. There are 3 more days till it begins. Cai Wei's beautiful gaze held a trace of concern. Are you confident you will do well? Although Li Luo had finally awakened his water resonance, it was relatively late compared to the rest of his competitors. Hence, Cai Wei was unsure if Li Luo would be able to make up for this difference during such a short span of time. She was extremely clear of the importance of being able to attend the Astral Sage College. If Li Luo was able to qualify, his influence and prestige would soar. At the very least, some of the people within House Loulan would no longer look down upon him, and he would even be able to bear some of Jiang Qing'e's burden. He sheathed the dual blades by his waist, his palms caressing the handles of both weapons as his face let out a contented smile. You can rest assured, elder sister Cai Wei. I cannot lose. If he was unable to accomplish even this step, annulling the marriage would just be a pipe dream. The holidays finally ended. Li Luo returned to the academy, and both him and Zhao Kui were summoned by Xu Shanyu almost immediately. You've reached the 7th seal stage. Whilst chatting casually, Li Luo discovered that Zhao Kui had also managed to enter the 7th seal stage during this holiday, eliciting surprise. Zhao Kui only had a 5th grade resonance, which was very average. Being able to reach the 7th seal stage demonstrated his tireless effort and the endless suffering he must have endured to attain this result. The massive, bear-like Zhao Kui scratched his head and laughed. I didn't return home this holiday and stayed in the academy to cultivate. The academy provided me with some special training that allowed my last-minute efforts to reap this success, allowing me to break through. During these past 10 days, Zhao Kui has been cultivating as though his life depended on it. Xu Shanyu, who was leading the 2, chuckled whilst he heard them banter. He had clearly recognized Zhao Kui's diligence and hard work during this period of time. Li Luo immediately gave him a thumbs up. Amazing. How can I compare to you? You're handsome and endowed with such perceptiveness when it comes to resonance arts. Now that you've awakened a water resonance, it's very likely you will become a legend in Southwind Academy, much like Sister Qing'e. Zhao Kui said honestly. Even when I'm famous, I will still be friends with you. You're truly the most honest person I've met, and you never lie. Even though you're a little uncool, Li Luo nodded and sighed emotionally. Of course. I will need Brother Luo to look out for me during this final examination. Easy. Once I'm in the top position, I will directly drag you into the Astral Sage College. Wow, how tyrannical. Hearing their shameless bragging, Xu Shanyue's face turned a little gloomy before turning around to snap at them. Quiet, you fools. We're here. Li Luo and Zhao Kui immediately snapped to attention and stopped spouting their nonsense. Ahead of them was a patio where quite a few individuals were roaming around. These were the top 20 in Southwind Academy. Li Luo recognized Lu Qing'e, Song Yunfeng, and Differ Qing's familiar silhouettes. Currently, the group was staring at the 2 in amusement. They had clearly heard all of their nonsense while they were bragging proudly. Despite the ridiculing gazes that the group was giving the 2, Li Luo's demeanor was indifferent and unshaken. As long as he didn't feel embarrassed, The ones who would be feeling the heat were the ones that mocked them. Jiang Qing'e, on the other hand, had a simple and honest smile on his face, demonstrating his ineffable and cheerful personality. In the end, the group only shook their heads and went back to what they were doing. These two had the thickest skins they had ever seen. Li Luo was clearly a little in over his head. He had previously barely managed to eke out a draw between him and Song Yunfeng, and now he was claiming he would take first place. He hadn't even asked Lu Qing'e for her opinion. Within the group was also the old dean. His gaze was filled with mirth as he shot a glance at the duo. Seeing that everyone had arrived, he said, "It looks like everyone is here. Since that is the case, I will now explain the rules of the final examination." Everyone trembled when they heard those words. They all immediately focused on each and every word the old dean was about to say. The college final examinations will officially begin in 3 days' time. The 20 of you will represent South Wind Academy as the representatives. I only have one request, and that is to defend the title of the best academy in the Jiangsu province. Additionally, the Astral Sage College has announced that 50 students from the Jiangsu province will be selected to join them during this round. The group seemed to have become more tense upon hearing this. 50 spots meant that there were several fewer positions than the previous year. In this case, the competitors would undoubtedly struggle even harder than before. As per the previous round, the top 10 in the college final examinations will automatically receive the opportunity to join the Astral Sage College. The remaining 40 positions will be distributed amongst the top 10 academies. The academies in the 8th, 9th, and 10th position will be allocated 1 slot each. 5th, 6th, and 7th will receive 2 slots. 3rd and 4th will receive 5 slots, with 2nd place receiving 6 slots. Finally, the top academy will receive 15 slots. When the last sentence was uttered, it instantly caused a hubbub to erupt. No one had thought that the college final examinations would allocate such a significant share of slots to the top academy. Even in previous years, although the top academy would receive more rewards, it had never been as unbalanced as this. Teacher Lin Feng from the first school had a face full of smiles and encouragement as he looked at Lu Qing'e. "Qing'e, in order for the academy to obtain the position, we require your help to take first place." The old dean nodded as he looked warmly upon her. Their hopes were pinned on Lu Qing'e. This was also normal as she was the trump card of South Wind Academy. Under their ardent gazes, Lu Qing'e remained as calm as before, only lightly replying, "I will do my best to fight for victory." The old dean nodded and then informed her, "However, you must keep an eye out for Shi Huang of East Pool Academy. He is extremely strong and will be your key rival." Upon hearing that name, Lu Qing'e's expression became slightly grave and she attentively nodded. "From tomorrow onwards, you will no longer have to come to the academy. Instead, you will head to White Spirit Garden. That is the location where the numerous academies of the Jiangsu province will gather. In 3 days, you will enter White Spirit Mountain. That will be the battleground for the final examinations." After this last series of exhortations, he summarized his parting words. "South Wind Academy has been led by this old man for dozens of years. Its honor is more important than my life. Hence, I sincerely hope that all of you will do your best during this final examination to preserve the honor and reputation of the academy." The old dean's face was dignified as he gave a final bow. The 20 students were immediately taken aback by this development, quickly returning one as well. In the end, the old dean waved his hand to dismiss the group, leaving everyone with mixed emotions. Li Luo walked out of the patio, staring wistfully into the blue sky, feeling his heart lightly surging. The college final examinations had finally arrived. It was a pity his parents weren't around to see this. If they really were, perhaps they would be looking at him disapprovingly and saying something along these lines. "This son is just too dumb. Completely different from our brilliant Qing'e." It was said that when Jiang Qing'e took her final examination, she completely suppressed each and every student from every other academy. She was so dominant that they wouldn't even dare to let out so much as a fart without hiding in fear. No one would dare to infringe upon South Wind Academy's prestige. Only when she finally entered the Astral Sage College did the numerous academies of the Jiangsu province begin to rile up in celebration, tears filling their eyes. Compared to Jiang Qing'e's blinding resplendence, Li Luo had encountered all sorts of ups and downs. In fact, just a month ago, no one even held any hopes of him participating in the final examinations. Thinking of all this, Li Luo's excitement tampered down a notch, as though someone had dumped a bucket of cold water over him. Just what is the meaning to all this? He lamented. The White Spirit Garden was nestled in the outskirts of the city of Southwind, back against White Spirit Mountain. It had been the location for many college final examinations before this. On the second day, Li Luo and the others prepared to head to the White Spirit Garden together, led by Lin Feng and Shushan Yu. They were greeted by a huge crowd milling around. Many stalls had organized themselves into long avenues that stretched out endlessly. It was a bustling sight. However, this was to be expected. A major event such as the college final examinations might only formally involve the elite students of each school, but in reality, everyone had an interest in it. Everyone wanted to see which young brave would lead the head of the pack and become the foremost leader of the new generation in the Jiangsu province. It was the highest honor. As they filed into the White Spirit Garden, the atmosphere heated up a notch, the cacophony of the crowd greeting them from all sides. Their arrival was immediately noticed. The reputation of Southwind Academy in the Jiangsu province was quite something after all. These are the top 20 from Southwind Academy. Wow, that long-haired beauty must be Lu Qing'e. I heard she's the best in Southwind Academy. She's probably going to get first place in the college final examinations this year. Maybe not. Eastpool Academy's Shi Huang is also unreasonably strong. I don't think is any weaker than Lu Qing'e. Which is Southwind's Li Luo? I heard Jiang Qing'e is his fiancée. Disgusting. How dare he sully my goddess? There. The handsome one. That's Li Luo. Money, status, is the young lord of House Loulan. HMPH. Not impressive, family power. The respectable youths build their own reputation. I heard he fought the second-place Song Yunfeng to a draw in the Southwind Academy preliminaries. Damn, you're irritating. Shut up, will you? Snatches of speculation occasionally floated across to the ears of the Southwind students. Both Lu Qing'e and Li Luo were featured prominently in the gossip, the former for her ability and the latter for his special reputation. A ways away, there was a stone pavilion on an elevated ground. 3 figures could be seen within, eyes locked onto the Southwind contingent as well. 2 young men, 1 young woman. One of the young men was strappingly built, his fiery red hair especially prominent under the sun. The other was a more scholarly-looking type, and noticeably thin. The young woman was clad in green, a dainty little thing with picture-perfect features. Her most distinctive characteristics were green, vine-like tattoos on the back of her hands. These 3 were not at all no-namers. The red-haired youth was Xiong Liang, from the Jiangsu province's Dawn Academy. He was their first seed, and a power to be reckoned with. The skinny scholar was Zhong Fu, first in Midday Academy. The petite girl in green was Kai Su, first in Dusklight Academy. All 3 were hot favorites to reach the top 10 in the examinations. That's Lu Qing'e? Looks strong. Xiong Liang's voice boomed out, the fiery battle will in his eyes trained on Lu Qing'e. I sense a dangerous aura from her, Zhong Fu said neutrally, frowning. The one ranked first in Southwind Academy has never been an easy opponent. But we have to be glad that we're not in the same cohort as Jiang Qing'e, otherwise, we would be flushed out in a trice. Kai Su laughed. Xiong Liang and Zhong Fu nodded with deep feeling. Jiang Qing'e is a terror. A 9th grade light resonance is terrifying. I pity those in her batch. But in this Southwind batch, only Lu Qing'e and Song Yunfeng need watching. We have nothing to fear from the others, Xiong Liang said confidently. Although his school could not compare to Southwind, that was precisely why Dawn Academy could concentrate much of its resources on him. Although there were not many like him in the Jiangsu province, he was definitely not the only one. In order to secure such talented students, each school would go to great lengths. What about Li Luo? I heard he fought Song Yunfeng to a draw in the preliminaries, Kai Su said. Xiong Liang scoffed. That's because he used some special move to play for time. In the end, his resonant power was completely spent as well. Another second and Song Yunfeng would have done him in. A clever trick, but it won't work in these exams. Kai Su said a little regretfully, a pity, him being so handsome. It was the intellectual Zhong Fu who reminded, arrogance is a flaw. The fact that Li Luo managed to beat Song Yunfeng shows that there is an odd streak to him. To be safe, there is a need to test his true strength. Only then can all unknowns be negated. Don't worry about that. I'll think of something. Xiong Liang made a face. Whatever. Kai Su turned. Have you two received Shi Huang's message? He wants us to meet him tonight to discuss something. Xiong Liang nodded. He was a little apprehensive about meeting the governor's son, the only one who could stand against South Wind Academy's Lu Qing'e in a straight fight. That is a reputation we have to respect. Zhong Fu nodded slightly as well. His target must be South Wind Academy, coincidentally ours as well. After all, South Wind Academy has relaxed on their best school laurels for too long. They always get the most entrance placements. If we can beat them down, that would be good news for all the other schools. Kai Su smiled as well. If not for such an important person, we would not have been able to join forces. Although South Wind Academy was the ultimate rival for many other schools, there was a lot of internal competition amongst themselves as well. Without a strong anchor to rally around, such unity was hard to build. Therefore, Shi Huang's initiative was welcome indeed. Li Luo and the others followed Lin Feng and Xu Shanyu into the accommodations in the White Spirit Garden. Li Luo was coincidentally matched with Zhao Kui. The two were tidying up their room when there was suddenly a knock on the door. Li Luo opened and saw a hyperactive face pop up close to him. The person had a book in his arms. By some information, brother? Those words immediately called to mind the sneaky illegal peddlers hanging around furtively at the gates of South Wind Academy, selling dodgy books. Yulang, when did you transfer here? Li Luo laughed. It was none other than Yulang, who had vomited blood in exaggerated fashion after losing to Li Luo. He grumbled, this is first-hand information about all the top students from the famous schools. Plus, the top 10 predictions are featured. Oh. Li Luo's brow creased. Quite some foresight on this guy, to know that such information would fetch a pretty penny. And it seemed like he had worked on it for a long time. Quite a talent for money-making. Li Luo praised him. He bought one out of support. Of course. I've put blood and sweat into the information. I guarantee it's useful, Yulang vowed. Li Luo flipped it at random. The smile on his face froze at seeing his own name. Li Luo, South Wind Academy. Young Lord, House Loulan. Once trash, now a genius on the comeback, seems to have a 5th grade water resonance. Specialties, very handsome, but good looks never won anyone placements. Low chance of entering the top 10. Li Luo roared with angry laughter. He was about to unleash his fury on Yulang, but the wily merchant was already gone like the wind. A voice came from far away. I'm just protecting your information. Li Luo gritted his teeth. As if, you little rascal. Don't let me catch you again. This video will end here.